because I forgot to turn off our microphone. So all our audience has just been listening to the chat about
behind the scenes.
Oh my!
They're like, is this what they do before the channel starts? Well, it's what we do when the DM forgets to turn things off. That's all right. Welcome and good evening to another fantastic night of wonderful players for the Relics of War Dungeons & Dragons campaign. My name is Sean, and I happen to run one of the finest tables out there, not because of anything I do, but because I found some of the greatest players, not just on the internet, but at a home table, and brought them all together. So I'm going to start off randomly picking Claymore, because Claymore's player actually had his name spelled wrong this whole time and was asking me about it. So introduce yourself, Claymore. Say hi to everybody. Tell us what's been going on with your week, and then you pick the next victim to speak after you.
Okay. Hi, guys. My name's Eric. I play the character Claymore, who's a wonderful, wonderful Warforged. I guess this past week for me has been interesting, along with probably a lot more people. I work in mental health, so I've been trying to, I guess, sustain the minds of the young folk while all this coronavirus stuff is going on. Still interesting, but crazy times, but we all got to stay positive in it, right? So, but yeah, I've been doing that, and I guess just enjoying, life, as much as I can. So,
Pick your victim.
let's go with Arya.
Hi. Somehow, I just had a feeling that was what was going to happen. The week's been pretty good. I've been crazy busy. I've put out probably a dozen job applications for the next year, so it's been productive. It's been very productive. I've also been supplementing income because schools are closed. I'm only a sub, meaning I don't get paid. So I've been supplementing through my Etsy and been actually selling some stuff. And this week I also got a new pattern for scale mail dice bags, which are pretty dope in my opinion. They're really cool. Definitely, if you loaded a bunch of metal dice into them, could be used as a weapon, but really awesome. Other than that, it's been a pretty average week. Been at home a lot. I pick Brock.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brock. I play Benoit, the Elviath, multifaceted Elviath. Anyways, it's been a crazy, hectic week here. Still have to go to work every week, even though now we're going to be under this whole lockdown thing where we're not allowed to travel, but we'll see how it goes. We'll get through. I've been looking forward all week to getting on here and doing a little bit of gaming and kind of let the outside world dissipate. It's about here on this end. You're up.
All right. Hi, I'm Kitty Doe. What I've been up to lately is working more on my YouTube channel, also under the name Kitty Doe. I know, very surprising. And I just do little animation YouTube video story time stuff. You can look me up. Otherwise, I'm working on my next big video, which should be somewhere like the next week or so. That should be uploaded. Much excitement going on there. But that's what's new with me. So I'll let Legend take it back over.
Sweet. Again, my name is Sean. Going by DM Legend. Been doing this for, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, maybe decades. So it's been quite a while for me. Loving D&D, and just a pleasure to sit down with some great players, and a pleasure to share it with all of you. So, some of the fun things that we do, if you are new to the channel, feel free to chime in. One of the neat things is we use plot points here. Our players can earn them. And one of the magical things we do is our viewers can earn inspiration. And that means that our viewers actually have a chance to alter the game, because when they are chiming in and fun things happen and we include something in the game, we drop some inspiration to our viewers. And then the viewer gets to choose which player gets inspiration for their character. So in that respect, these players are always willing to engage and talk to our viewers. That being said, we only have a 2-hour show, so we're not going to waste any time. We're hitting that 5-minute mark. We left off last week at the One-Eyed Dragon, down in the port city of Zem, southern parts, far off the coast of Corvair, down near Zoriat. It is a wild land, a now predominantly dangerous. They have found some undead dwarf-like individuals. They heard a strange name, Haruf. They escaped from it, and they have returned to Zem, which is this port city not unlike Stormreach. And there, they immediately set about making their own indelible mark once more. Our characters had previously lost their memories at the start of this adventure. They chose to pass up the brain room getting all their memories back, but they are finding that some little bits are coming back to them. That's a good thing. But while they're in this town, they're finding out not only that they've been here before and they're remembering some things, but they found some information such as Ionia, a soldier from Northern Corvair in the now Mournlands that was Kairi. She, as a soldier, had been here before and taken charge, and she took charge when returning to Zem and got a name. In the meantime, Lythander, our friendly neighborhood purveyor and seeker of treasure that hasn't been lost quite yet and finding its way into her possession, somehow fell into a house through the attic and happened to come out in the main floor and just happened to fall into a bookshelf, and
Accidents happen.
that's right, and objects fell into her possession, and while the owner was sleeping, she just happened to leave the way she came from the third floor. So hey, weird accidents, very strange. But in the meantime, a battle that was going on that Claymore was a part of turned out to not be a battle at all. They were wrestling with old friends that had recognized him and we found out part of Claymore's past, that he is one of the first Warforged ever created and sold by the nation of Kairi. And he had been sold to the Brelish Empire. And the general and the captain that he met, the general was the one to train him, wrestle him, test him, I guess would be the best word, and then put him through combat. So we found out some interesting things there. In this, they all went off to a bar where we discovered that the Goliath elf mix, Benoit, was a good person to have around in a pinch because he's quite agile, willing to twist people up, and willing to fling things when Lythander decides to instigate bar fights with short people. For no other reason than apparently because they're short and he likes to stir up trouble. So that's where we left it. We have some wicked awesome things going on, and I open it to my players to now set the scene. Any one of you may take charge. I see a hand up by Kitty Doe. Take it away.
Okay. I think we had initiative order, actually, last we left off. I'm not sure, though. I thought we had all rolled initiative because we were going to start off the battle with fighting.
I think you did, and to share with all of our wonderful viewers, the DM sadly deleted the thing because I forgot.
I wondered where that went.
Bad DM. I get the bad DM award for today. Yes, I did that. That was my fault. So I'm trying to find my map and dice. There you go. Why is that not showing up? That should be like the chat there. That's not working. Why is that not? There's something not working there, but hey, there's the initiative order on the right. So go ahead, roll yourselves in, and let's take a look.
All right.
Rolling in again. Don't forget to click on your token before you roll.
Don't forget to make up your own sound of rolling dice.
You can actually, well, if you're doing it on screen, you can actually turn on dice roll.
There she is. Let's move you up. That way I don't lose you. I'm going to come stand next to Lythander.
Nice.
Where is it?
Ha! I only have a -3 to my initiative.
Hey, I mean, like, it could be worse.
Well,
-4.
Ooh, no, you don't have a -4 to your initiative.
No.
Wow, Claymore.
Oh.
That's
Hey.
Your
I'm
dex
getting the
is like
bad rolls
stellar.
right
Used to have a minus, like Thunder used to have a -4 on other things.
He did, but then he was blessed in a way that I don't think the player wanted. But he was blessed. Most people would be thankful for a stat increase.
Ooh.
yes, I know.
More.
I know,
Look.
that's painful.
It's the first roll of the night. I'm just getting out of the way. This was
That's
all part
smart. Get them out of the way
That's
early.
it.
In my armor, I'm doing better than you.
That's painful.
for now.
The first hit one of the night. Oh my! But okay, at least it's on initiative, not on an attack. So that's
Yeah,
a-
well, yeah. If you've got to get a botch in there somewhere.
He's trapped on the inside of the
initiative.
booth. He can't get out.
That map in chat is working correctly. Alright. I'm actually bouncing around some screens if any of our viewers are watching and wondering why. Oh, I know why that's not working. You know why that's not working. That's supposed to be my... I'm changing a couple things. Our viewers are probably going, what the heck is he doing? Why is he doing it now? Doing it now because if I don't do it now, it'll never happen. And then I gotta pull that way back somewhere down here. I don't know. I guess I gotta go lower than that. Oop. I lost it. Whatever. You know what? I'm giving up.
Just had to sneak right in there above me, huh?
Oh my.
Just want to be a little bit faster than me. I was doing pretty good so far this round. Hopefully the rolls are even better come like my potential attacking.
I'm remembering that old quote from one of our previous players who said he goes, it wouldn't be a stream night if we didn't have tech issues. So there was our tech glitch for the night. Beautiful. Back to it. Taking it off top of the round, Lythander. Describe the scene. Set it for us.
I believe there were some very grumpy and upset short people who were just kind of stomping away. But then there were some feistier ones who were like, I don't like people who take things from other people's pockets very ceremoniously without ever being caught. But mostly we don't like them right now because they called us short. And Lythander is ready to throw down, and he's got some friends who are ready to throw down with him.
For being willing to start us off, take your first plot point of the night.
Aye.
What do the rest of you think of that?
Ione is still trying to talk out of a fight. She's trying not to, disturb the peace and create a barroom fight, especially because should for some reason lots more people want to gang up, like we are the outsiders in the town. People here might know each other and have us severely outnumbered, even if we're stronger peasants with pitchforks. That's a real bad thing. Odds are not in our favor there. Trying to kind of talk out of it a little bit.
Are we surrounded?
You are in the middle of it, but you are not surrounded as in they are attacking you, but there are people in every direction, and you are quickly seeing it escalate as individuals become angry with other things, and then somebody else is bumping into one of the short people, and they're thinking that maybe it's because of you, so things are quickly escalating.
So technically we are surrounded. That simplifies the problem.
They do all seem to know that Lythander is the one that was the one to say something about being short, so there is no question about that. Despite the chat trying to change that. Kitty. She's like, don't let them know.
I happen to nudge Claymore on the kind of in the ribs and be like, hey, worst case scenario, there's a window right here. We can always go through it.
Sweet.
Correct. Always have a backup plan. Know where the exits.
There we go. As you do, let's see. So Lythander, Ionia is trying to talk. What are you saying, Ionia?
Ione is kind of doing, continuing with the same spiel that she had been continuing with at the end of last session, which is that her friend has had a little too much to drink. He spouts his mouth off a lot, and we'll keep an eye on him. We'll make him sit down and shut up, and there's no need for this to be hostile here.
I would like to note that Claymore would like to charge his hammer.
Claymore, I don't think has learned how to do that, has he?
Yeah.
The hammer? Yeah, I was the one who found out.
Yeah, but I mean, have you did you attune to that thing, or? I don't know. I don't remember. Come on, I'm working from memory here. I'm an old guy.
He had already put together. He had already put together that the goo from the cafeteria was Warforged innards, and he had just been doing this whole cut open, slather his blood on the thing basically, and charge it up.
Sweet. So you are going to cut yourself and do a damage and charge this thing up. There you go.
All right. What's the damage?
It's 1d4, so I'll let you roll for it instead of me. You go right ahead and
maybe you'll get another one of those bad rolls out of the way.
Please. All right, 1d4.
You can just type in /roll d4.
Slash. That's what I was trying to do.
I mean, you can literally click on the dice on the side. There's a bar on your left of the screen that has dice on it. You can do it that way too. But
Okay.
I'm just faster with typing. There you go. So you do 3 points of damage to yourself. It's a heck of a slash, and it starts glowing brightly. In the meantime, since nobody's offered to help you with the persuasion roll, Ionia, go ahead and make a persuasion roll for me. Let's see how they respond to you.
Let's see if it goes as well as last time.
You have disadvantage on the roll because of how badly Lythander set this up for you.
But I already had a roll that was going really well as well last time. I had like a 20+ roll.
So, yeah, they're not really interested in what you have to say, but you don't make them more aggressive. At that point, there is a sharp shove to the back of the Warforged. Go ahead and make an athletics roll with advantage because you are just big and bulky and aren't really ready to move.
Athletics with advantage. Okay. What are we looking at?
All right, 16 beats it. So you feel the push a little bit off your back, but the person behind you, when you turn around, you're not sure because they're starting to crowd in a little bit if he was shoved into you or if he just shoved you and was ineffective. Benoit, you on the other hand, again, there's no elves in here whatsoever. Some of them are looking at you, not quite sure. There seems to be something about you that is off-putting. You're literally as off-putting almost as a Warforged because you are this strange blend. Goliath are weird, but elves are feared. Oh, I like that phrase. We're going to have to keep that in there.
It could have also been the the beer mug that I chucked and smashed the first guy in the head with.
And you take a plot point for reminding the DM of that in such a beautiful fashion. And what do you want to do now? You've already chucked one. Did you get anybody in a headlock last time?
No, all I did, I was sitting at the table and I just chucked it when they all stood up in a group, and I smashed the first one in the head and knocked him to the floor.
So what do you want to do now?
Well, I mean, we're standing up. We're waiting for the next move to come in. So if they're advanced, then it's game on.
Fantastic.
We're playing.
Right now it's closing in. Nobody's advanced. So Benoit's just sitting there waiting, and you, Claymore, what are you doing?
I am, well, first of all, I turn over to the dude who bumped into me, and I just look at him with my glowing hammer. And can I roll for intimidation?
You absolutely can. Oh, yeah, now with that thing glowing, you absolutely can.
Whoop, whoop. All right.
Have I given you stats on that hammer already?
I don't think you've given me specific stats.
I need to give you the stats on that. Remind me later. Right now, just roll, but remind me. Yeah, the guy that appears to have fallen into you, literally, as you turn around with this glowing front convex hammerhead, he like literally starts trying to back up. You know, you're all beat up, smashed up. You know, you look like you've seen more than one battle, and now you have this glowing hammer. And he's backing away from his friends. In fact, it's such an impressive intimidation check against them that they actually scramble and give you a good 5 feet of space all the way around you, trying to get out of the reach of your swing with that. Lythander.
Lythander's going to wait because he's not stupid enough to try and take people on, especially if he can't take them on behind their backs. So he's holding action for if somebody tries to hurt him.
So you'll react with an attack on somebody trying to hurt you?
No, he will react with running away and hiding behind one of his friends.
Perfect. That's always need to know what the reaction is. Ionia?
Try and talk people out of it.
Okay. Is there anything particular that you want to try to say, or just rely on your character's witty charm?
I mean, she's probably going to point out that half of their group already left and had gone back and sat down, and that it's really not worth the fight.
Look at Lythander. He's scrawny. Is it really worth it?
You're still talking when Roosevelt actually says, "Enough of this," and slams his old fist onto the table, which probably isn't quite as impressive as his younger days, but he still has some good-sized girth, and the table rattles a little bit when he hits it. Wow!
Oh my.
All our viewers are like, what just happened? That's what happens when your camera falls.
That's what happens when he hits the table.
Oh, another plot point. That's well done. Well done. Another plot point. Making it fun. He gets to make a, in fact, I'm going to let Brock make the roll. You roll for Roosevelt, and you get to add +4 to the roll because, and whatever
What am I
Aria's,
rolling?
you are rolling a d20, you are adding +4 to it, plus whatever Aria's persuasion roll is.
Nice.
Or Ionia's. Ooh, Lythander just looking, Lythander, you look far too chill at the moment.
Get a +5.
So that's
Lythander's
+4,
always-
+5, you've got +9 to the roll to try and get these guys to back off.
21.
There we go.
21? At
Yeah.
that, the crowd starts to back off, and it only takes another few minutes since none of you have instigated them with battle before they warily take their seats again. A few of them watching you, you might have some plots against you.
It was only a 16, but
Where'd the 21 come from?
yeah, mine got added in there twice. I had expected you to be clicking on like your sheet and that the +4 was from yours. So when I saw the D20 plus a number, I assumed it was your modifier, and I just went ahead and added my modifier, and I didn't realize that you manually typed in the +9.
Oh,
Yeah,
so,
I had it covered. It was a 16.
yep, 16. Well, we're not going to retcon it. I'll give you another plot point for being honest and a plot point to Aria for her describing what happened there. I always try to reward my players. They get to adjust the plot as necessary. So, they've now backed off. Roosevelt says, look, I didn't come here to have people starting fights, and he looks meaningfully at Lythander, and he goes, if all you're going to do is, and he looks over towards Claymore now, who he knows from his past, he goes, if this is the type of company you're keeping, he goes, then I probably shouldn't have come down here at all. And that immediately triggers something, because you thought he had just randomly found you in the street, or so he said. Because he said, if you remember, he said he was looking for something before.
That's interesting.
You can make a perception roll or insight, whichever one you like.
Let's see. I'll go with perception.
Perception. Jackie, when he says this, his elderly son, the captain, still active in the Brellish army, looks at him as he makes that comment. And while you're not great at human emotions, you're pretty good enough to realize that something must have slipped out.
What are you hiding?
I'll have the director out.
Yeah.
I mean, Ionia would be right there
He's
with
blunt.
you on that. No, Ionia would be right there with you on that one.
He looks and says, damn.
Yeah,
It was-
damn.
He goes, I'll talk with you in private. He goes, we don't need this rabble.
You just call us rabble, or the rest of the bar rabble?
No, you. You get the general attention. He's talking about the rest of you.
I see everybody backing away, so I figure it's done and over with. So I go ahead and sit down and grab the closest full glass of ale and start drinking it.
Getting a glass of ale is a little bit dicey at first because they're not sure, but one of the ladies who was impressed early on comes over, serves you. Yeah, so ale shows up. Do you want a full tankard or do you want a pitcher?
I'm just grabbing one that was already on the table.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Stylish. So the one that Claymore didn't drink.
That's true. I don't have taste buds, so whatever.
What do you want to do with this, Claymore?
Claymore's going to, I guess, insinuate, let's go outside. And we can talk about this.
Roosevelt and Jackie follow you outside, and Jackie actually looks back just to kind of make sure that nobody's following.
Ionia kind of is watching him as he is, but she doesn't get him.
Okay.
I'm gonna peer out the window and make sure I keep eye contact.
Say, make it aware that, like, keeping an eye on our friend.
You notice that Benoit happens to stand up with his pitcher and move towards a wall. how obvious are you being about this, Benoit? Is it very casual or?
I'm going right over and keeping eyes on him through the window.
Oh, dude. So, yeah, you guys can all see us. He just boldly moves over, and as this massive, oversized elf comes close, some other people actually move away, giving him an easy space to stand in a corner about 15 feet from the table, where literally he can look out the window. Once out in the street, Claymore, the general actually speaks to you directly. They won't be able to hear inside, but he says, he goes, look, there's no accident that I came down here to find you. He goes, you tracked down Thumbolt. He goes, when no one else could. He goes, I heard you were down here. He goes, I figured you came to die anyway. There's no other reason to come to Zem. So he goes, cards on the table. What will it take to get you back again?
Oh, God. Nothing. I will never go back. You don't control me anymore.
He says, well, under Brellish law, you were set free. Isn't that worth something?
That is true. But that is my past life. I don't intend on going back. I'm trying to do something different.
The general considers and he says, and he's at disadvantage here because you have a past with him. He goes, I'm not used to arguing with, and he stops just short of saying machines and says with, and you can see him almost struggle on the words. He says, men of your nature. He goes, if this is the way you're going to turn down an offer from the Brellish Empire, he goes, I'm not sure why I even bothered. He goes, I should have known that someone like you couldn't be bothered to help out the Empire of your own goodwill. He goes, I knew you'd become a bounty hunter, and I lauded the skills, but I thought perhaps you would do it out of honor. I see now it's only worth it to you for a bounty still on your head. He looks disappointed, and he puts his hand out, and Jackie puts something in his hand, and he hands it to you. He says, I would have gone with you, would have helped you. Now you're on your own. And he looks at Jackie, and he says, come on, we're leaving. And he looks at you and he says, he goes, don't expect a favor from me. And then he and his son walk off into the dark of the city.
So dramatic.
I'm not alone.
I'm not alone though. As you walk off into the, I just want you to know.
The people you know, rabble.
Oh, God. Well, Claymore's saying that technically, like, after the fact, like, I'm not alone.
Claymore's gonna come up with 20 good arguments like half an hour later.
Yeah, I should have said
Once I
that.
see them walking away, I decide to go out and talk to Claymore and make sure everything's okay.
Door opens, and there's the massive, the one bead bigger than you that's not quite a juggernaut.
I'm a bit pissed, but I guess we didn't need him. It's all right. It's not worth our time anyways.
Been a long bit of travels. Perhaps we should gather our things and find a place to sit down for the night.
Yeah. That sounds good.
It's true, because Ionia's probably got something she wants to talk to you about.
Ooh. All right. We walk back inside. Well, at least Claymore does. Kind of brushing off the whole event.
So, how'd it go?
Swimmingly.
How did what go?
Oh, God.
Oh, he went out to talk with his buddies or whatever. Called us rabble.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad that those cops are gone now for no specific reason.
They seem kind of like they've got a stick where it don't belong.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a big stick.
Is it a long stick?
Oh,
Well, Jackie sure didn't know how to use it, I'll tell you that much.
No,
Let's see.
Well, at least they bought us all a drink. I mean, took money from them, wasted their time. I consider that a win, honestly, for someone I don't like.
Well,
Now,
they're
since our
gone
group is
now.
all back together, I found some information that there's somebody lurking around this town that might be able to give us some direction for what I had been looking for out in the jungle. He's this dwarf. I know where he lives. We can go talk to him, but I wanted the group to be back together.
Did
Oh,
you
yeah.
want to give them the name?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she tells you about Nirtak the Sleepy, and as she describes where the dwarf lives, Lythander, you should have some red flags go off. You're like,
I may
that's
have
right over
met
near
him.
where you were. That
I
street
don't
she
think
named.
we should meet him.
Why do you say that?
Well, I don't know. You would probably need to. Well, okay, go
I
ahead.
just feel like he doesn't want to meet us.
Lythander, what are you not telling us?
He
I-
would probably be rather indifferent as he's not expecting it, but I've been given the go-ahead by somebody that knows him. It's
What
like having a good reference. I paid for this reference.
How much did you pay?
Like 5 gold.
I can give you 5 gold. I don't want to go to that house. The people there don't like me.
Nirtak the Sleepy doesn't like you?
Well, I don't know about him, but his roommates, they tried to feel me up in an alleyway, so I'm not about that.
Do you want me to beat them up?
No, that's...
You want me to beat them?
I could acquire a doll for you.
Let's go take care of this, Claymore.
It wasn't that kind of...
My sledgehammer is
guys,
charged.
listen.
I'm for this. Ione is already standing up.
No, wait. I might have been in the wrong.
You just said that he tried to feel you up.
He thought I had money.
Did you
of his,
feel
which
him
I
up
did not
first?
have. He thought I did. He thought I felt up his shoe, but I can confirm I have witnesses. I didn't feel up anybody's shoes.
Why would you feel someone's shoe?
Exactly. That's what I said. Anyways, there's just a little misunderstanding, and I'm just not looking to rehash anything with his roommates.
You don't have to. We'll take care of it. Come on, Claymore.
Exactly. I need to let off some steam.
Do you want me to wait here with Lythander?
Wait, guys, none of this is necessary. What are you, what do we even need to talk to this guy for? For information? I have information.
I was looking for the location of a very specific spear.
Yes.
And he has maps of the entire jungle and world, basically. I guess he's some sort of know-it-all. A nerd, really.
Maps. I think
A sleepy nerd, probably because he stays up all night studying. He's probably nocturnal.
Why don't we get
Owl, maybe.
a shared room? We can get a private room. We can all share it in the inn, and I can see if maybe I have something that you could use as a map. Maybe.
Why would you have this map?
No specific reason.
Are you Nirtak the Sleepy? You don't look very dwarvish.
I'm not very sleepy either, but I could be. If you hit me on the head hard enough, I could be sleepy.
That
Oh,
can be
I can
done.
accommodate that.
yeah. Lythander walking in a group with like 3 kind of buff fighters.
Scrawny
This
little
can be done.
Lythander. 3 big fighters.
How tall is Lythander?
He's like, I think 5'9".
Oh, I think that's taller than Ionia, right?
Oh yeah, Ione is 5'7". She's tall for a woman, but she's still a woman.
Okay, I was just trying to get the feel there because I knew Lythander was young. So.
But she's decently built, and she's wearing chainmail armor, carries around a rather imposing weapon. Like, she's very soldier.
She may be shorter, but she's stouter.
She's stouter.
I can't wait to see some of the drawings that come from all this. This is going to be great once we finally have the artwork done.
Listen, I just think that maybe, I had some syrup earlier today. My hands were kind of sticky, and I may or may not have something of his.
Burn it.
Sticky hands. I get that.
Maple syrup hands, actually.
Only
Very
should
good. I
clean
washed
it
it
before
off.
we return it.
I washed off my hands. It's all good now. It was a one-time thing, guys.
Oh, did you not
But-
realize when it stuck to you?
I didn't until like half an hour later. Isn't that crazy?
It was on your hands. Did you not use your hands for half an hour?
Basically, they're just there for aesthetics. Everybody else has them. Why shouldn't I have hands?
You don't
Can you
wash
not
your
feel?
hands
Just
regularly.
imagine
you can
Lythander
catch
walking down the
diseases.
street limp-handed.
Can you not feel your hands to feel that there's something stuck to them, which is heavier than just the syrup coating?
Okay, maybe I was a little sleepy. Maybe I am him. Can we just get a room?
I don't think I've
Who do you wanna
known
get
you
a
long
room
enough
with?
for that.
I think I could pay for the room. How much for a private room here?
Mm.
Are you flagging down?
Ma'am?
What, shortly, a freckled, about 5'6" woman comes over with cleavage almost as big as her head. You'd swear she was about to fall over, and her apron has so many stains on it from beer and spilled drinks, it's ridiculous. Yet the outfit underneath is clean as a bell, and her face looks freshly washed, so you can see
Hey.
every one of her freckles. And she
How you
looks at you, and as you say, hey, in that special way, she looks and she says, "Oh, you're so cute. You remind me of my brother.
Oh, that's something you want to hear.
What can I do for you, little
There's
brother?"
incest going on. It
What?
couldn't be a total strikeout.
What?
Oh God.
Point is that there's always possibilities. We don't know what she means. We don't know her context between her and her brother.
But the
Okay.
context for you.
Unless she's from Alabama.
Exactly.
Hey, this is D&D, not Game of Thrones.
No, gosh.
Get a
There
plot
we go.
point.
How much
Lysander
for-
and Brock each get a plot point.
How much for a private room? For like me and my buddies.
She looks and then says, "Oh, well, there's 4 of you. She goes, you could just get in one of the flop houses. We're only a tavern. We don't have rooms here, but I imagine one of the flop houses you could probably get in there as cheap as $1 a night. You say a private room though. 4 separate rooms." She goes, "I would
No,
probably recommend-"
one room that we'd all just share together.
Oh, she goes, "Well, I, you know, as we said, she goes, well, I suppose for you, she goes, him too?" She kind of looks over at the Warforged like, does he really need a room? Like, kind of somewhat confused. Then she goes, yeah, I think you're, she goes, and she looks at the elf, she goes, "You two are, sort of, big. I don't really know what beds are
Oh,
gonna fit
it's
the two of
fine.
you."
They can sleep on the floor.
I don't even need a bed. I can just stand
Exactly,
up.
She doesn't even need a bed.
She goes, oh, all right then. She was here, and she says, "Ask for your hand for a moment." And as she does, she pulls out a little dish, dips her finger in it, and writes on your upper part of your arm right here, and it's the name of a street, and she says, "You just have to ask for Rose." She goes, "Blue house, red door," and she looks at you kind of straight. She goes, "If you get lost," she goes, "just go down here, make a left." She goes, "That's the name of it." She goes, "You'll see, again, blue door."
This isn't like
Blue
near
house,
the
red
docks,
door.
is it? Because the people down at the docks don't like me right
She
now.
goes, "No, but that's where all the flop houses are if you'd like."
No,
goes,
I don't need any
Does
houses.
You
anybody
said you
Does
like
wanted a
anybody
you?
like
private room. She goes,
We're not. You guys all like me. It's fine.
no. She goes, "This is actually," she's a really nice older lady. She used to have an orc that used to live near her, but he suddenly left town. His brother died and whatnot, and she's been feeling rather lonely, so I imagine she could put you up.
Thank you very much. I
Let's
appreciate
go find Rose.
And you have a wonderful evening, madame.
She says, "Aw, you're flirty, just like my little brother."
What can I
Not
say?
hear it now. Come on, hand on that Lysander's
Oh,
back to guide him out the
Wait,
door.
We can switch
Guide him out
layers,
the door.
please.
Suddenly, Lythander is pushed out into the streets, and by the directions that she gave you, it's pretty easy to find the street name and whatnot. You realize though when you get down the street name and whatnot, finding the color of the houses in the dark is a little bit difficult. Do any of you have anything that would help with the sight and whatnot in the dark?
I probably have torches.
I believe Lythander has a lantern, but that's it.
I'm trying
I have
to see.
torches.
Okay. Again, this isn't a high street. There's not a lot of magic all over, which you were so used to. As you're walking down the streets, everybody except for Benoit, you have various memories at the edges of your mind of places you've been, places that are far more lit up. There is magic here, but each of you have memories of times and places where the magic has been all over. Not
What
here,
magic?
though. The technology, Lythander. That's right. The strange little the creatures. Very good. Take a plot point for that. That's right. Actually, that would be inspiration. You've earned inspiration for our viewers. You've just clued them in on something from Lythander's background. That phrase, "What magic?" in the light of magic.
Oni is kind of looking around, keeping an eye on her surroundings, being very wary of the fact that it's dark and whatnot. And unsavory folk live in the world.
Make a
Keep
perception
Lythander
roll for
close.
me.
Keep Lythander close. Protect the squishy baby.
Benoit's bringing up the back of the party.
10.
Yeah. Nothing there. You do notice the house. You found the house. Benoit, you're following up at the back. You got a big warforged in the middle, a small woman up front. Obviously, this old broken warforged needs a little protection, along with this little boy. Either that or he's the little boy's bodyguard. We're just not sure.
This
Something
boy needs
happens.
lots of protection. He's got a full protection detail, honestly.
As you are you knocking on the door? Like I said, you found the house. Do you just want to open it up and go in, or
knock
climb
on the
in a
door.
window?
Knock on the door, slick back his hair a little, because she said there was a nice old lady who lives here, so you gotta good first impressions. Treat all ladies the same, unless
You
they're
actually
terrifying.
see the lighting change through one of the windows, and you can tell that somebody's
Unless they're
approaching the
Betty the
door.
Bruiser.
And then you hear a voice from the other side say, "Who's there? What do you want?"
Hey, it's the man of your future, Lythander. Can I come in?
No, go away. And you hear a sound on the other side of the door that sounds like something scraping.
Wait. Lady from the tavern sent me here.
Ask her if she's
What lady?
Rose.
Very well endowed,
Freckles
freckles.
has a little brother.
Nice
Everyone knows Alia.
Okay, well, she
That
sent us here
doesn't-
looking for a woman named Rose because we're looking for a private room.
Did she tell you the name of the street?
Yeah, it's written on our friend's arm here.
I guess you can't see.
Unfortunately, she can't see through doors, so.
Not that we know of.
Not if we break the door.
I mean, she could have
It
magic
says-
X-ray vision.
Really? Well, what's it say?
It says, no, sorry, wrong way. It says your street name.
Yes, your street name is not what she would have written. I don't trust you. Hold your arm up to the door. You put your arm against
Back my arm into the door.
She goes, too close. Back it up a little bit. I can't quite read it. And you're like, the door is solid. Stop right there. Too far. Come closer. Stop
I
right
feel like
there.
the door's just gonna bite your arm off.
Oh, that is her right. Yep. Okay. One moment. And also, you hear the scraping, and then more scraping, and other things. You realize it's the sound of bolts being pulled back. And a moment later, the door opens,
Better than digits,
and
guys.
you're looking, and there's nobody there. And then all of a sudden, you look down, and it's because it's a 2.5-foot tall gnome. This little old silver-haired gnome. And she goes,
Firm hand on Lythander's shoulder.
It's
It's meant to be reassuring.
Rose sent you?
Yes.
Oh, we're here for Rose, I thought.
No, yeah,
Or-
no,
I'm
what's your
sorry.
four rows?
Very good. Take a plot point, Arya. Elia sent you?
Yes.
Okay. And then she backs away, and she stays near the door, like just like keeping her body behind it.
Guide Lythander in and stay between him and the short person.
Hey, some people are just short.
Between wait,
Yes,
the gnome.
and you
or-
seem to yes,
Okay.
and you seem to have a problem with short people.
Aria, you can make a perception roll, and you get +5 to your roll because of your
Oh.
background as a soldier.
Ha!
Yeah, you know what? You're very focused on Lythander, making sure Lythander is away as the gnome ends up getting backed into the wall so that the Warforged can even fit through. Benoit ducking his head to get in, and you come into this house, which is a normal size house, thank goodness, but just this. You realize looking around, all the furniture is this tiny little furniture. None of it's built for your size. Here, and then the door swings closed, and as you watch swinging closed, in Rose's left hand, literally laying on the ground almost like a cane, is this thing as big as her leg, held in an arm that clearly Claymore recognizes. Aria, I'm not sure. You can go ahead and make a history roll. Claymore definitely does because he was with the Brellish arm. Brock, Benoit does not.
I'm full of 10s today.
Yeah.
Today's feeling kind of medium difficulty, you know.
Yeah,
Average.
this one, it was really questionable. I'm going to say no, you haven't seen one of these before. At least you don't recognize this. Claymore, you absolutely recognize what this is. This is a gnomish hand cannon. She's got a gigantic gun the size of her leg laying on the ground. And you're pretty sure that one of those could do an easy, like, gut shot and take one of you guys out. So, little old Rose ain't quite as defenseless as you might have at first thought. She pushes the door closed and she says, "Well, if she sent you here, it's for private room, so and it's late at night. That'll be 1 gold apiece. You do have money, right?"
I have some really nice kisses I could give you.
Thought you said
Trust me, give her the money.
Oh,
She
has
has
little
a
money.
weapon.
tight kisses, and she reaches down and you see her do something with this cane, and then she pulls it up, and you see this barrel about this wide, pointed up, and she goes, "Okay, you can leave now."
I also have money. Here, can I
Don't
get?
worry.
She seems very
Recoil will kill her.
Oh,
Cheers. Cheers. It might be magical. By the way, your Warhammer is still glowing. I should have thought of that.
Love it. Let's keep it that way.
I'm gonna give
it's gonna
her-
be
what
glowing
is
till
that?
you let go of it, or until it burns it up.
there's 5 of us.
Yes.
Four.
4 of us. 4 of us. I know how to count.
Well, that's true because
I'll give her 4 gold. Please don't hurt me.
she looks at it and she says, "Okay," and she puts it into her little dress pocket and she goes, "Let's go." And then she uses the gigantic gun, like I said, it's the size of her leg, like a walking cane, and you see her start going up the stairs, obviously putting her back to you. So now's the time if you want to backstab her. and kill her.
Lythander's gonna lean over to his Warforged buddy Claymore and just whisper, "She's pretty banging, if you know what I mean."
She's packing something. That's all right.
And follow her upstairs.
Oh,
Meanwhile, Claymore is just picturing Spartan kicking her straight through a wall.
helping the DM to keep a straight face. But you're not actually kicking anybody into the wall, right?
No.
Okay, just
I'm
making
just thinking of
sure.
all the ways I could take her out need be.
You could practice for the gnome punting Olympics.
This is it.
Right.
We come full circle.
This one will go far, literally.
I don't have that sketchbook down here with me to show Ionia gnome punting, but gnome punting Olympics.
It's a thing.
As you start going up the stairs, you hear the creak of the steps under the weight of a warforged that is now walking up wooden steps in a house that was never built to hold the weight of a warforged, a Goliath, and then
I'm staying back.
2 humans as well. You happen to hear the first creaks as the warforged gets on the steps as well. And about halfway up, I would like you to make an agility roll, please, Claymore.
Oh, man.
Uh-oh.
All right. Agility.
Acrobatics. Sorry. Acrobatics.
I was like, wait, what?
5e. Yeah, 5e acrobatics. I apologize. It's the problem when you've got decades and decades. Yeah, so a moment later, Benoit, you see as it looks like Claymore goes down to a knee because his foot just went right through the stairs and literally he fell down. The stairs did not give out, just part of that one step under his foot crushed right through. And Rose turns around, like looking around you both, and goes, "Oh, you're breaking my house! What are you doing?"
Well, I'm sure that gold will cover any costs to fix it.
I guess I'll just
She
stick to
looks
the
at you and
ground
she says,
floor.
"You're not allowed to break up my house."
And I didn't do it on purpose,
We paid
okay?
to be here.
Relax.
No, get out, no, take your
No.
money back. And she starts fishing in her pocket. Get out of my house, you're breaking it up.
This is gonna start a lot of self-conscious things.
Ma'am,
with
is there
Claymore.
maybe a room not upstairs that we could use? You see that we have rather large friends.
No, I don't use the upstairs. Those are the rooms for any visitors that Alia sends.
Okay,
Who am
well,
I gonna
Claymore,
have to
why don't
pay
you also
somebody to
use your
fix
hands to
this?
disperse the weight a little bit?
Crawl up the stairs, grudge
Crawl
style.
up the stairs.
I mean,
Maybe, Benoit, you want to do that too, just in case. I know you're not as heavy as him, but you're also kind of big.
I don't even need a bed. I could just stand downstairs.
I think the point is that we're trying to talk.
Yeah, but if he's going to fall through
I
the
fall
stairs,
through
he's
the
going to fall
floor.
through the floor.
But I think if he disperses, the stairs didn't completely collapse, even with the sudden giving out of one spot. So I think if he
Exactly.
disperses his weight, he'll be fine.
It just happened to be one step. I mean, it doesn't mean the whole house is coming down, but she naturally doesn't want to be sitting there losing all her money.
All right, I guess I'll give this a shot. It's a little degrading, but
Takes a moment, you pull yourself out, but she's at the top of the stairs. She's telling you all to leave. She doesn't want to have her house busted up.
It won't happen again, ma'am. We've dispersed the weight.
But who's going to pay to fix this?
How much does it cost to fix one stair? That's just a new piece of wood hammered into place.
Oh, are you a carpenter? Can you do that?
I am not
Okay.
a carpenter, but I have skills in sculpting and woodwork. If you had a piece of wood, I could absolutely put it into place on your stairs.
Well, you could go get some wood and do it tomorrow.
I wouldn't know where to get the wood in this town.
What's the purpose of paying you money if not to upkeep your own house for future residents? This is economy.
Make a persuasion roll.
Nodding in agreement with Lysander.
I'm going to use my inspiration to get advantage on this.
Okay. 16.
Nice.
She looks very
Why does that-
dejected.
Because
Well-
I clicked inspiration.
Oh, because yours is set up default to roll once. Right?
Yeah, so I clicked on my inspiration and then I clicked persuasion.
It's like it's blue.
It's letting you know which one I'm using.
That's it. And you can do the same thing when you have I think disadvantage, can't you? No.
I have no idea.
No, I don't think you can. It just rolls 2 and roll 20. All right, so Rose looks incredibly dejected, but does lead you to a room.
No, it does that.
And she does have 4 rooms, each of you with a single bed, although she actually speaks very kindly to the massive Benoit, saying, "I'm sorry, your feet are going to stick out." And then she looks at Claymore, she goes, I don't know that you wouldn't break one of my beds. I can't
Don't
afford to
worry.
fix that too.
I'm not gonna sleep in the bed. It's okay.
He'll just sleep on the floor.
Technically, I don't even sleep at all.
Technically, he doesn't even
Oh.
sleep.
Oh.
It's a win-win-win-win. Wait, it's a
Do
win-win-win-win.
you have cogs? And she starts looking
Like-
around at your legs and whatnot. She goes, "You have gears? I don't see any."
It's a bit private, wouldn't you say?
She goes, "Oh, you can trust me, sweetheart." She goes, "I'm used to looking at robotics and whatnot and tech." She goes, "It's very good."
But it's his body.
She goes,
It is my body.
Just because a surgeon is used to examining the insides of a human body does not mean I want them examining my insides.
Can I
Thank you
see
so much
your
for the rules.
insides?
What
Okay,
kind of
no,
lever
you do
and
not need to
buttons
see
do you
her
have?
insides.
she
Let's
feels
let's all just move along.
Let's,
she had already
let's
showed
go
you
into
your
it.
rooms. All right, so she showed you each your rooms, and she
We're
rose
funneling
apart.
into one room.
You guys are all squeezing into one room. Okay,
I think the point was that we could talk.
you guys can do whatever you like. You realize it's just 4 rooms up here. That's it. That's the entire top floor. She just doesn't use it.
Perfect.
Close the door.
And now Lysander will pull out some strategically placed maps. By
Ooh.
strategically placed, I just mean in his backpack, but you know.
Probably a lot of
Benoit's
maps.
going to sit down cross-legged into a meditative form.
So I have these 4 maps. And I have this. I pull out, he pulls out the map glasses that he took with, which I assume is for magnifying or something. I don't actually know.
I don't know. You'd have to look through them.
No,
Why do you have them if you don't know what they do?
because they looked pretty and they're shiny.
They are goggles. No, they are glasses with very thin frames and multiple levers to allow other lenses to go up and down in front of them.
Oh yeah, those look like magnifying.
Right? And they're shiny.
Kind of start rolling out a map to start looking at them.
Multicolored?
I definitely think these things will be worth a lot of money.
Are the glasses lenses multicolored?
They are. There's numerous. And as you start to look over at them, Brock, in their hand, you notice 2 things that as she flipped them up and down, you actually saw that there's a small symbol engraved on each side. On the one side, there's a sun, and on the other side, there's a moon engraved into, I described the thin wire frames, but actually in the lenses themselves when they line up a certain way.
I make a recommendation that depending on how you use the lenses in the glasses will show different aspects on the map.
Lysander hears that and then whispers to Ionia, I hear that depending on how you use the lenses, it'll show different things on the map.
And of course, all of you heard Benoit say this. And it's interesting because when Benoit sits cross-legged, he's still about 4 feet tall, so he's not a whole lot shorter than, I mean, he's a foot or so shorter than, Lysander, but he's still in on the conversation. He's still taller than your host. Even when
May
sitting on
I
the ground.
see the glasses then? I could.
Yeah, no, here, take it all. I don't need
I'm
it.
just gonna start unrolling maps and
I mean, I'm
looking
gonna need it back. In case
through
I
the.
sell it.
That'd be enough, of course. She will begin looking through the lenses, trying to play with different lenses, see what she can, if anything, like pops up on the map. Because I mean, if we're thinking that there's something hidden, might as well just start moving lenses around and see what happens.
Well, one of the most interesting things about it is this map is incredibly plain. It shows, it's not actually a map of Zem. It's not a map of down here. This map literally appears plain and has just a few mountains sketched here and there. As you start to look at it though, and you move these lenses back and forth, you realize that other things appear. All of a sudden you're like, that's odd, and you're like, oh, there's a mountain range there, and then you try to focus in on it, and you're like, you move the glasses away and there's nothing there on the map. So entire parts that are open on the map take on new meaning. And there's script there that you recognize from being in the dungeon where you were, or the lower city. So it's written in a language that you don't understand. But it's not about Zem. It actually appears like part of a continent. And I will, actually, you don't have to because you've traveled enough with the war. You recognize some of the mountain ranges as actually being north of Kairi. So you're like, I recognize some of this. Although you can't read any of the writing, you recognize some of the mountains and whatnot. One of the other interesting things is that you notice that all the lenses on the one side don't seem to do anything, but all the lenses on the other side seem to show up like water, and one shows up like some mountain. And as you're flipping these back and forth.
It's just the one map.
She has given you one map. I believe you got...
I have 4.
I was about to say, I believe you got more than one, though.
Yeah, no, I have no issue. I gave her all the maps.
Okay.
Okay, then gonna see if like the other set of lenses does anything on like the other maps or like the backs of the maps.
Okay. Checking out the back of the map, the first one you see nothing. The other maps, the other 3 maps that you pull out appear normal, though at different times as you go over them with the lenses, little bits actually do come out. What languages does Ionia speak?
Orcish and Common.
Orcish and Common. The 4th and final map, you actually can read the writing. It's very crudely drawn. It's in Orcish. None of the lenses seem to do anything on this map and whatnot. Although, interestingly, what you realize you're looking at is a war map. It shows hidden trails in and out of the mountains, talks about in Orcish and whatnot as you translate, like ambush here, outpost here. And you also realize, reading along with it, there's a few coded words on it, which maybe are passphrases or it could be some type of magic. But the lenses do nothing on the 4th Orcish map.
Did anyone here speak that language that was in that dungeon place?
You also don't know the location of the Orcish.
Benoit, were you able to read what was written around in that dungeon?
I was.
There's some of that writing on this other map, and she'll hand over the lenses to you and she'll explain and convey to the group to keep everyone on the same page, everything basically that you just said. Here's what I was able to tell about like what the lenses do and stuff.
Okay, as she walks me through it, I go to the different sections of the map, changing out the colored lenses till I get to the parts where she's looking for me to translate.
You find the same thing as her, that only the lenses on the right side seem to do anything with the map as you're reading it. And sometimes flipping up different lenses at different times reveals different parts on the map. One of the things that you realize very quickly is this blend of modified giant, which uses, again, the Dwarven script, but it is this giant language blended with Dwarven overtones, if you will. And as you read it, it is specifically talking about pathways, codes, and most specifically, you're sensing a set of numbers over and over next to different locations, and it's talking about number of souls in each location. And yet the number of souls, which has a number next to it, like 500 here or 362 here and whatnot, are always written another number. And these other numbers are 3-digit numbers that tend to represent like 050, 0, and they are consecutive. So there's 050, 051, 052, and they're listed up there, and there's 3 of them.
So as I convey this information to everyone else, does anybody have an idea on exactly what this is? Or are we able to gather, since we're not familiar with the area, are we able to gather a place where these maps might actually be from?
Well, so I was able to gather that some of these maps are from the main continent. I recognize some of these mountain ranges, and she'll name the mountain ranges as she indicates to where she kind of remembers them being now that she doesn't have the lenses on. But seems to be a lot of stuff from like north of the Mornlands, where Kyrie used to be, and I know some of these areas.
I need to know languages. Eric?
Just Common.
Benoit?
Let's see here.
Lathander, what languages do you know?
Common and Gnomish.
Gnomish, okay.
Common, Elvish, Giant, and Halfling.
Oh, and Thieves' Cant.
For no particular reason.
It's one of those things you pick up on the street.
Thieves' Cant is not a language, it's a way of hiding things in a language.
Claymore doesn't do a lot of talking.
Very good. Wonderful. So yeah, you don't but Brock, you've had Benoit look over this entire thing. Again, there's multiple directions about how to hide things. You realize that it's actually talking about on this map. Make an insight roll. There's actually something here that you might be able to catch on to.
Prior to making the insight roll, I mentioned the lenses and having the engraving on them of the one a sun and one a moon. And I want to say, since maybe it's nighttime, that's why only half these lenses are working. Maybe in the daytime we'll try again and see if something else is coming up.
Oh, that's so smart.
And going with what Benoit says, the ones on the side where they're all the moon are the only ones that are working.
Now, what am I supposed to roll? Insight?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, hey, you were able to figure out what she gave you, but that's it.
So we'll have to take another look at this in the morning and see if we can decipher some more information using the second set of lenses.
Good to me. Do we call
Sounds
it
like
a
a
night
plan.
then? Percolate on the information, look at the maps in the daytime, and then formulate what we're going to do with whatever information we get.
That sounds good to me.
Look at Claymore. Maybe if you go anywhere, don't stand up. Just keep crawling around in this house.
All right. Claymore crawls over to the left side of the door, hopefully where the hinges are, and goes into sentry mode, just in case Granny feels like coming up and blasting us all to high hell with
Or,
big gun.
are we all sleeping in the same room? I mean, we have 4 rooms up here.
Yeah, we do have 4 rooms. That is true.
I mean, I'm just...
I'll
Like,
go to my own room.
Lysander will also go to his own room.
I'll camp it with the Warforged. There's
Oh.
safety in
the
numbers.
Claymore does not feel like moving any more than he has to. Is probably not the greatest idea.
There is safety in numbers, and this is a good exercise to show that she trusts him implicitly. And that there is no negative association whatsoever.
Sweet.
So Lysander's in his own room. Ione and Claymore are in their own room, and Benoit's in his, right? Benoit,
Correct.
should are you trying to use the bed, or should I assume that you are
No, I just pulled a blanket off, placed it on the floor, and kind of sit down in cross-legged style and just kind of zone out for a little while.
Yeah. As you slip into your elvish trance, focusing on nothing and everything at the same time, Claymore, you go into your sentry's rest, fully aware of your surroundings, but just powering down as Ionia slips into her own dreams for the night. Lysander, you're stretched out on a bed. Should I assume a search of the room first?
Lysander's not interested in searching the room now.
Okay. You snuggle down in the bed, which is actually incredibly comfortable. It's well made. The hay in it, while possibly old, has not been beaten down in the middle yet. The ropes, which of course naturally creak underneath, are quite a sight better than the hard cots of many of the flop houses. This is actually quite elegant. Obviously, at one point, this woman, this little Rose, had some decent money that she's put here. Your sleep is undisturbed. Each of you, of course, gets back your hit points, prepared for the next day. May spend your time in the morning preparing whatever spells you need. I believe your character sheets can be updated very quickly just by maxing out your hit points and your spells. In the morning, the sun comes out the windows. A couple of the rooms have windows, so you can decide which, and wake from there.
Are we all morning people that kind of wake up on our own bright and early?
Well, I've got 2 soldiers in here, one of which really never goes to sleep. An elf, which really doesn't even need the full time because they only need 4 hours of trance, and then they can have extra time doing other things. And then
And Lysander, who has a beauty routine?
No, Lysander's used to light fishing.
It's all in the
Which
hair.
involves getting up early.
All in the hair.
It's all the hair. He's up
He's gotta
early, but
spend-
he's not down till noon because he has to style his hair.
He's got to spend at least half an hour to an hour in the mirror practicing his hey. No, I didn't like that one. Hey. What's my
Once
best side
Benoit
today?
hears some noise going on around there, he decides to walk over and taps on the door. And upon being told to enter, goes in the room.
So we all gather back together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's time to view what the daylight's going to show on these maps.
I'm just working on getting her armor back on since they're going to be heading out and I'm not leaving it here. And no point in carrying it if I can just wear it to carry it.
Well, why are you not wearing your armor?
Well, I just slept.
Yeah, but as part of your wake-up process, you can...
Right. I mean, like when people are getting over there, it's probably I'm putting my armor on as like if we're all gathering together. It's just flavor.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to know if there was a reason that you wanted to not have your armor bonus or something. That's fine. So you guys are gathered back together. You happen to be inside Ionia and Claymore's room, which doesn't have any windows and whatnot. But that's fine because with the door open and whatnot, there's a little bit of light from a window in the hallway and stuff. There's a chimney in here that would have been normally used to keep heat had it been necessary, but there was no need tonight. What do you want to do? Describe it to me.
I think we're examining the maps with the sunshine part.
Okay. You make an interesting phrase because this room doesn't have any windows. You roll it out on the bed, you don't see anything different than last night.
Move to a room with windows.
Okay. You move to a room with windows. What do you want to do? Just roll it out on the bed?
Probably in light of the sun so that the map knows that it's daytime.
You roll it out on the bed first, check it out, no difference, and then Ionia comes up with this concept to put it in the sunlight, and as she does, you realize that moving these lenses, while it's laying in the actual sunlight hitting it, something different happens. And you actually get other things off of it and realize that the magic of these lenses, or the magic of the map, or some combination therein, reveals other information. The numbers, which we're highlighting on this particular map about the souls and whatnot, also seem to have what are called entrance codes. There's also what's called, when you flip a different lens, what are called opening years, but you don't understand the year codes on them. In other words, it's by a different calendar than you have grown up using. So again, you have more clear indications, more clear ideas of where these places are, what they are, how to get into them. And of course, you are able to associate this with the same language that you found down in the Dwarven Undercity.
And I think just to be safe, kind of like we did the night before, we should sort of give everyone the chance to take a look at the maps, gather the information, maybe offer anything that they can interpret from their histories wherever they've been, if they recognize landmarks, or if they know a language that's on one of these maps that they can read that I can't, just to pool party information.
Lysander offers the fact that he thinks that these maps could fetch a high price.
I probably only to the people that would really want the information, and potentially the price might not be gold to the people who made the maps that you acquired them from.
And Benoit?
He would have been taking the maps and the information coming off of that and jotting them down in his journal.
Okay.
For
3 of the
future
pieces
reference.
of information that you jot down in your journal are that next to the 051, 052, and 053, one is called the Well of Knowledge, one is called Power Development, and one is called the Storage of Dreams.
Did I recognize any?
Go over that one more time.
One is called the Well of Knowledge, one is called Power Development, and one is called the Storage of Dreams.
Did I recognize from when I had been looking at the map and identifying landmarks if there was any sort of trails or information, anything regarding anything inside of the Mournlands? I know I recognized like mountain ranges and stuff that were north of the Mournlands, but
now with this going inside, you actually do. 2 things actually stand out to you as he indicates certain things on the map, certain shapes, which again, you can see the maps, but it's part of the writing that is now visible in the daylight. And one is that there is something. Make an Arcana check for me.
Don't ask me to be smart.
Yeah.
I'm an artist first, a soldier second, never a nerd.
Yep.
Never.
And
I'm just a jockey artist.
there are indications of, and the words that Benoit shares with you don't make any sense with what it's trying to describe on the map. But you get these indications that they were trying to plot something out, but it's straight lines, so you really don't get what. But one thing that you do know is it talks about a fertile, or the word is either fertile or growth, valley. And for you, in your mind, one of the things that you remember right off the bat is a certain location where a gigantic plant grew at one time. And you know exactly, because it's not far off the border, but it is towards the inlands, and you're like, it would be just about that same spot from your past. And you remember encountering this plant and walking away from it at one point, very significant point in your life.
Okay. Do you like plants?
This plant was a massive rose plant.
Okay. So it seems like, oh,
I was just going to share that it's one of your memories post Kyrie becoming the Mournland. Sharing a little bit of your background.
So all of these maps are from back on the mainland.
No. We've only been talking about this one map so far.
That has all the magic to it.
Correct. The second map, which was the Orcish map, you did not recognize where it was. And judging by what you have each told me now, the second map, which was in Orcish, Claymore would have a chance of making a history check and recognizing to see if he knows where it is.
Ooh. All right. History. Where is it? Yeah. Huh. Okay.
Wow.
Nice.
you
Significantly
know,
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My rolls tonight have not quite been spot on. I started with an awesome initiative, and it's all been mediocre and downhill from there.
And I started with a terrible initiative.
It was
You
not.
picked the right direction here.
It was not one of the missions that you ran. It was actually post-war in tracking down the pirate Minotaur because he had returned to the lands of monsters far to the west of Corvair. This map, written in Orcish, is of the monster lands. So some Orcish traveler must have either gotten hold of it or made it himself.
I convey this obviously to the group. I mean, that's pretty much what I know about that situation. I don't know if that helps or not.
Far west, a land controlled by monsters rumored to be run by witches and harpies. And even now in the land of Sharn, there's a district where humanoid-type monsters, whether it be minotaurs, goblins, and other things, are actually accepted in the city. Sometimes it's tentative because there's a lot of racism involved, which is why they tend to seclude themselves to one district. But this is nowhere near what we would call the civilized lands of humans and elves and dwarves. This is of the far west of the continent. If we were talking about America, we'd be talking about California. You know, all the way out there to the west, yeah. You know, where nobody goes because it's the land of monsters and the monsters rule there.
Huh.
Yeah.
Do we stand any chance at identifying the locations for the other two maps?
That one's a definite no, and I think I had Brock roll earlier and he got a 1 or something like that and he did not recognize it. So, yeah, the other two of you have no idea on those two. Because they're based on backgrounds. You have to have been there or seen maps.
So do we sojourn back to the mainland? Because that's a magic map.
It is. I know you had paid for information to get information from the dwarf because you had wanted to go back to the to find that staff and whatnot that you came down for, which you had information was down here. It's totally up to you two or 3, 4, whatever.
I mean, more than anything, I'll stay with the group. I'm happy to go wherever. I don't even fully know what the staff does.
We can always go talk to this guy and get the information that you've already paid for. I'm sure he's got additional information to add.
Yeah.
I have to mention that we already have his maps.
Fine by me, but I think Lythander was looking to avoid even seeing people there.
Yeah, no, they don't like me.
Then don't show up.
Or we could always, if you're standing with us, I mean, there's a sleepy dwarf there and one roommate. There's 4 of us total. 3 of us with combat experience of some sort.
All right.
We'll be fine.
All right. I'll just throw them back in my backpack.
What if, now that we have the information off of them, we go and create a distraction, you put them back, and then we go talk to the guy and get more information?
I'm not putting them back.
Well, I think the thing about maps, like the written information we have, but otherwise, like any locations that are on the maps, once you don't have the map, you're kind of shooting in the dark. Like, I remember it was south of this mountain range, but like...
Well, that's what I was jotting all down in my journal throughout the night.
Oh, wow. You were busy. So they do have like reliable sort of copies of these maps now? All that information?
I do in my journal.
Who cares about all of that? You guys are missing the point. I can find people who know people who want this information and get a good price for these maps.
But I mean,
I'm talking about bringing us in money. I'm not returning these maps.
If we sell the maps, somebody else might go where we want to be going.
Yes, okay. We go there first, then we sell the maps, and we just don't tell them that the treasure's already been looted.
I'm a fan of that plan.
See? We don't return the maps.
Plus, depending on how long you've had these, if they are actually important, the individual might know already that they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
And replacing them seems...
crazy.
Like, it'll be very difficult. And a little too little too late.
Oh yeah, definitely too little too late. Let's not.
So you don't want to find out what information he has?
I mean, I'd be game for going and talking to the guy, but
doesn't technically know I stole it. To be fair, the confrontation I had with his roommate was just about me feeling up his shoe.
Which you didn't do.
Which I didn't do.
Okay then. So we go to the weird shoe fetishist and the roommate who I want to talk to. And we get some information, and then we make our decision from there.
Sounds like a plan.
Already paid for the information. That seems like a really reasonable thing to do.
All right.
Lysander's going to store back the maps and the goggles, and we are on our way.
Heading back downstairs, Rose meets you at the door, which has all the padlocks still in place. She's already awake. And you see her sitting on a chair, and she actually has her gun right next to her. And she stands up very sweetly and says, "Oh, morning, sweeties." She goes,
Morning, Rose.
Sleep well.
Rose.
We did sleep well, yes.
Rose sounds like Mrs. Doubtfire.
I'm so glad that you slept well.
My deities.
I'm so glad you slept well, sweeties. She goes, "I'm just really, really happy. Nothing broke?"
No, nothing broke.
Oh, that's so good.
We kept the weight dispersed.
Very good. I'm very glad. And I was going to ask you if you were going to fix that step, but I've had time to think about it, and I'll get it fixed all on my own.
All right. Well, I'm terribly sorry about the inconvenience of that step, but like we said, nothing else broke, and we'll keep that in mind next time we're going anywhere.
Are you already leaving?
We have some things we need to see to in town. We just needed a crash place for the night.
Well, if you want to come back, as long as you don't break anything, you're welcome to stay again.
Thank you very much. We'll keep that in mind, Rose.
With that, Rose goes over, and you see her now, because you're like, it never clicked on you. How did she unlock those bolts all the way at the top? And when she goes over the door, she flicks her hand on some of the ones, moving the bars up like this. And she reaches up her hand and just flicks it like this without ever being able to reach the ones that are a foot away from her hand and 2 foot away from her hand. And as she flips her fingers each time, they just magically slide over until she
It's a neat
opens the
parlor
door.
trick.
Before Claymore walks out the door, he's gonna say, "Before I go, where did you happen to get that wonderful weapon of yours?"
She goes, "Oh, my walking stick? I'm so glad you like it." She goes, "My family made these."
Really?
She says, "Yes, sweetie, that's why I was asking how many gears and cogs you have under there." She goes, "I come from a proud line of tinkerers."
Perhaps I might come back someday.
"Well, I don't know. You were kind of damaging to my house, but you were nice."
I'll be careful next time.
At that, Rose lights up and she says, "As long as you're careful and you're a friend of Isa's, you'd be welcome here."
Have a nice day, madam.
Now with the door open, you guys head out into the town. What is it that you're actually looking for? You hear the door close behind you and Rose locks herself in as little old lady's taking protection.
Heading to the door in the alley that I was described by the man that I paid money to get that information from.
It doesn't take long to get up to town. It's early in the morning. Lythander walks by the spot where the dice game was going on. There's nothing there. Brock, Benoit looks over. The elf is not in his spot where he was yesterday. So he obviously has not come back to set up his gaining funds yet. You move to the up this alley, and Lythander, yeah, sure enough, name, location, this is exactly the same spot. They literally like 2 doors up, left-hand side, and it's just a nondescript door. There's multiple doors here, but your directions had told you where to go. And yeah, 2 doors and just an old brownish door, a few windows up at the top on a 2nd floor, might be a 3rd floor, you can't quite tell because the windows are kind of high up.
Go give a polite knock on the door.
No answer.
Do you think it's too early to be visiting someone? As I give another knock.
I just think
A little bit harder this time. I mean, he's sleepy, so might have to wake him up. Maybe this is normal.
Well, that's it. Realizing the name that you were given Nurtak to sleep, you become bold with the hammering, and soon enough you hear, "Oh, yeah, I'm coming, I'm coming." And
Thank you.
with that, a moment later, there's a click on the door, and the door opens up, and there stands this dwarf in robes, huge white beard, looking kind of scraggly, and looks like he pretty much just rolled himself out of bed, wearing some sort of wizard robes, of which look like a more modern fashion of what Benoit picked up when you were in the underground city. Similar color, similar design, just more modern. A little more pointed in the shoulders. And this dwarf is standing there and he says, "What do you want?"
Oh, well, my friend at the general store, and she'll mention the actual name of the gnome that she had been talking to, said that I might be able to come to you for information. I paid him so that way I could find out where you were to gather this information.
He's looking at all of you like you're some, like, thuggish party. He goes, "What kind of information?" He goes, "I've got all sorts of information." He was like, "Information that you better not mess with me." And he looks at the 2 big guys especially, not seeming as concerned.
No, we're
about
not here to cause any trouble, I assure you. I'm actually just looking to certain the location of and potentially the lore of and the effects of a magic spear that might be hidden out in the jungle.
"You want to go out to the jungle?" He goes, "Are you one of them dragon shard hunters?"
No. I could be, potentially, one day, but I've never been dragon shard hunting yet. It sounds intriguing.
He goes, "Well, most folk come down here thinking they're going to get all them dragon shards, and trying to get dragon shards is like trying to fish for dynamite. Once you even catch it, it's just going to blow up in your face. He goes, more people die doing that than anything else. He goes, kind of silly.
Well, I'll keep that in mind then. Maybe I won't do that.
He goes,
No, I'm looking for a magic spear.
no problem. That'll be 2 silver.
Well, I'm actually, I came here for information about a magic spear.
I just gave you information. Told you not to fish for dragon shards.
Well, I came here asking about a magic spear.
Oh. What kind of magic spear? He goes, you know, I've seen them little wondrous orbs. They're beautiful. Wait a minute. I'm not going to give you information for free.
That's fine. I'm happy to pay you for relevant information to what I'm looking for.
Okay. He goes, well, let's not stand here in the doorway. Come on in. And then, you know, wait. You got money? I want to see the money first.
I have money. She kind of takes her coin purse, opens it up to show a little bit of money that she has. I mean, she's got some gold and
you
stuff
can
in there.
come in here. What about the rest of you? What do you want?
They're just here with me. They're my party. We travel together. I share information with them.
Hey.
Well, that makes sense. I think only one of these big guys would probably be good to protect a little filly like you, but that little guy there, he looks like he probably needs some protection too, so you come on in.
Thank you.
He brings you in and whatnot, and then he brings you in straight out. You come into a hallway. You see a staircase leading up there on your right-hand side. Otherwise, you could go past the hallway straight ahead. But he leads you through a doorway to the left, which opens into a massive parlor. You see some couches. You see a seat. You see a lot of bookshelves.
It's quite the collection you have.
Boom, boom. There we go. Let's move that up so that other people can see what you're seeing and whatnot. If we can grab some of these. Boom. Anybody else? Where's everybody else's tokens? Oh, there's Claymore. Hello, Claymore.
I'm all the way at the bottom.
Gotta find out. There's Benoit. Well, let's get you in there too. So he leads you through the doorway after this. I'll just let you guys control your tokens and whatnot. Whoop, there we go. And their attack proceeds over, and then he plops himself right on a couch right over here. Says, come on in, have a seat.
Erudi will go in and have a seat across from him, so that way she can speak directly with him.
He goes, that's wise there, big fella. He goes, you take the strong seat there. He goes, that's a good one.
God. Claymore would like to still continue to stand, but at least near the doorway.
Lysander, why don't you come have a seat next to me?
Ooh, okay. He walks over and he sits down next to you.
You can go ahead and grab your token and move it. It's all under your control. Should be at least.
No, I have to do a lot of seconds.
There you go, I got you. Oh, or maybe I don't.
Oh, back out in the hallway. Goodbye, Lysander. Lysander's booking it.
Out.
I thought I could do this. I can't do it.
Lysander's like, my mouse isn't working. As you sit down across from him, he says, all right, well, you know, put your money on the table, and then we'll take a look and see what questions we can answer about the sphere.
All right, well, I'll put a gold on the table to start. So the spear
that videos, that'll be 10. I'll get you 10 questions for that one, and you can pose the great and mystical Nurtax mind.
Well, the problem is I don't have specific questions, really. I'm looking for, really, what is it that the spear does and where do I find it?
He reaches, stretches his back, and as he does so, you hear a snap, snap, snap of his bones, and he's like, oh, well, you get to choose the question, so 10 questions. He goes, do you want me to tell you what questions ask?
No.
All right, then. He goes, had you said yes, that would have been a question, just so you know.
I will keep that in mind. Okay, so the spear that I'm looking for, I heard rumors about it back on the mainland that it might be somewhere out here. It's got some sort of magic connection to nature that I know of, and your friend said that it had something to do with the old continent or this old civilization that actually lies below the jungle, underground and everything. So I was wondering, I guess first, do you know what sphere I'm talking about?
He looks starts to look a little uncomfortable. Maybe he just doesn't have the knowledge that you seek. And he says, there's lots of rumors about things under the ground and whatnot. He goes, and you know, little spheres like that. He goes, you know, if you want me to tell you stories, I can tell you about spheres that hatch monsters. I can tell you about spheres that pour out water.
I'm looking for one specific sphere. You seem uncomfortable. You know the sphere then?
I know many spheres. I know many.
I'm asking about one specific sphere.
Well, you know, give me a name of the sphere, and I can tell you if I know.
I don't know its name. My first question is, do you know the specific sphere that I'm describing?
I know of quite a few spheres that would fit in.
That's not an answer to the question I'm asking. But I'm referring to one specifically.
Now, how could I know what's in your mind?
Your reaction generally gave the impression that you had a general feeling about it. Considering the very specific description about it lying, you know, below the jungle with all of the old layout about whatever used to exist here, I was told that you were the only person who has information about that specifically. I can't imagine there's a ton of magic spheres with my exact qualifications all in that underground whatever it is.
Well,
there's going to have to be here for you specifically.
That's because I'm the one with all the knowledge of the things like that. He goes, you see all these books around here? I'm a well-versed man. He goes, I have lots of knowledge, and I can share it all with you. But you got to be a little specific. I got to know which book that I have to open to go and do this for you. So I'm going a little Irish there. I got to stop that. He goes, so I got to tell you a little bit about there we go. That's better. Now we're back to him. I got to tell you a little bit about what you know before I can actually go and do this for you. So I'll tell you what. You be more specific, and I'll give you more specific answers. You haven't given me a whole lot of qualifications. You said it's under the ground. You said that it's got things growing.
I didn't just say under the ground. I said part of that specific civilization and all that ancient history and stuff that exists under the ground of the jungle. I've seen some of that stuff.
Now,
with the undead and stuff.
Which civilization would that be that you're referring to?
I don't know.
Well, then I can tell you all about them kobolds. They got quite a few shiny baubles, and many of them are the spheres about which you're talking. They can make things grow. They actually grow lichen all over the walls. You don't even have to carry a torch down there if you visit them. And rumor even has it that they...
Look, I came looking about one specific spear, a very powerful spear that I've heard legends about, not some average, everyday, run-of-the-mill spear. I paid for the information to come find you, that you would have the information for this specifically because it was such an obscure topic that nobody else would be able to give me a map to or anything. And if you're unwilling to give me the information, then you shouldn't advertise that you're willing to let people pay for information. You know exactly what I'm talking about, and if you're not willing to give me that information, I'm not willing to spend my money here wasting it on stuff I don't need.
Now that's interesting. You use a fancy word there. You said advertising. He goes, now, that word, I'm not quite sure what it means where you come from. He goes, but that would insinuate that I'm out there actually paying people to send you here. He goes, can't say that I've ever done anything like that before.
No, but it's what you said at the door when you were first in conversation with me, trying to charge me for things. And then when we sat down here and you said 1 gold, 10 questions, what your questions are, I'll have answers to. You know what I'm asking. You're purposely being deceptive about the answers, and I'm not willing to pay for that.
Lysander wants to crack his back and try to be intimidating.
I'm not sure if you're more intimidating than Ione. Ione has got some pretty great intimidation scores.
He just wants to help you out here and make it seem real.
Do you have any
he ends up trying to
weapons
crack his knuckles ow.
No, Lysander doesn't have any weapons. He just has, he has daggers, but they're hidden. He just has his muscles, his guns, if you will.
Okay, make a
22 caliber
intimidation roll.
muscles.
Now our viewers can at least see the dice as Lythander sits far across from this dwarf. Holy crud!
Nice.
Where did that come from?
Good
It
charisma
came
scores.
from Lythander's moxie. He has a lot of it.
Those muscles must be intense. He must be juicing.
Oh my gosh.
It's really all in his face.
Ionia knows that feeling. Yeah. She's got a +7 to intimidation. She knows that feeling.
You don't want to be on our bad side.
Lythander says, looking out from over his crossed hands. And the dwarf says, fine. Your question was, do I know it? Yes, I know it. The problem is, you're talking about something in the rumored old dwarven undergrounds. And don't nobody go there. Nobody alive, anyway.
That's not true. We've all been there.
He looks over at you and says,
Pretty not.
like hell you have. If you were, you'd be dead.
Technically, I'm not even alive.
He goes, if you're not alive, who do you belong to?
Me? What do you mean?
He goes,
Oh boy.
dead things, non-living things are made by people and belong to people. He goes, now, if you're looking for an owner, I'd be glad to own you.
That's not necessary. What is it that this spear does?
He raises an eyebrow and says, before I answer that question, he goes, it seems odd to me that you'd be coming here looking for something and you don't even know what it does.
I know.
So before I tell you what you already know, how about you tell me what you know, and then I'll give you something new.
But we already
I think
paid.
a full comprehensive list of what it does would suffice.
Yeah, no, that's not the way this works.
I've already told you I don't know what it does other than it has magical nature power.
Well, I can tell you this much. He goes, in the hands of the right person, it can grow food with no light, with nothing, no warmth, and if rumor even has it, not even water.
That's all it does?
Shows it might have other powers.
I asked fully, what does it do?
And I
What
told you
does it
that's not the way this works.
Does it create
Tony,
life?
we paid for information.
The way
And I
this
just
works,
gave you information. If you don't like it, you can head back to the door. And he reaches out, picks up the gold coin, and says, I'll get
You're
you your
giving
change.
false advertising saying that you will answer our questions and then only half-heartedly answering our questions. Now you will answer the full question that she asked.
This guy's a waste of our time.
He says, I agree with the big fella there. And he starts pulling out and he counts out 8 silver and he pushes them across to you. He says, there you go.
I'm still interested in where do I go to find this, other than the Dwarven Underground? Where exactly is an entrance that? Can you give me a map?
Says, I might be able to give you a map. He says, maps to locations like that have to be hand-drawn. So I'll draw you a hand map. It'll have a few landmarks to get you there. But he goes, your first encounter will be getting by the door, and don't nobody get by the door unless you believe this yokel over here who says he's already been there and somehow gotten in and out.
Yes, we all have.
Then why on blooming blazes are you asking me for a map?
Because I don't know exactly where that door is anymore. I don't actually remember how I got there. I woke up there, got out, we wandered through the jungle to get back.
He says, now where are you going, big fella? He looks over at the giant golly elf that's gotten out of the ground or out of the chair.
the ground. Up out of the ground he rises.
Grows.
I'm
Hey, the
pacing
spear
back
made
and
him.
forth.
The individual who's been intimidated into giving some of the answers does agree. He goes, I'll draw you a map. And he walks over here to the cabinets right near where the Eliath is. Oh, I'm clicking on the Twitch screen because I can see the map over there. So he actually goes over here. Moves down really quick. Grabs some papers off of the shelf and whatnot. Picks them up and then comes back and sits in front of the table so that he can actually begin drawing where the money nearly was. Makes a few beginning things and he goes, you know, maps are expensive. This will cost you 3 silver.
Okay.
Guys,
So he
cheap.
pulls back 3 of the silver of the 8 that are still on the thing, puts them in his pocket, starts drawing very quickly, and you can actually tell something instantly. This guy must be a cartographer of sorts, because the map is nowhere near as crude as he says it's going to be. It actually quickly sketches in Zem, this port city that you're in, shows a road leading out, shows a few other landmarks that you actually saw when you were coming back here, because remember you took the main trail and whatnot. Shows where there's a river, some other things that you meet. But one of the things that you notice right off as he draws it along the map is that it doesn't have the branch off or the double back that you used to get to where you already were. He draws this on, shows a few more landmarks that you're unfamiliar with, and then talks about a rock and says, he goes, you'll have to dig around the flat rock to get underneath it, because the rock is a cover stone to the entrance underneath.
All right. Can we scroll that on like the edge of the map?
Yeah, the map is yours.
Okay. Now, what is it then? I'll try to like trace back like where we did like the double back and whatnot. And I'll describe the path. You know, like if you're here and there's like a double back and stuff to get to where we were, and be like, okay, what is that?
As you start filling it in, he reaches out, pulls another silver towards himself, leaving 4 on the table, and says, he goes, that over there, that's a split in the earth. He goes, if you truly believe it, he goes, the fouled gases come out of there. He goes, supposedly at one point the earth opened up and a bunch of monsters fell into it. He goes, more rumor than anything else. He goes, a few adventurers have gone out there, been down there. Some of them have lost mates and whatnot. Mostly, here's what we get back is some of the hirelings, that fools that go in there searching for dragon shards and don't come back, and then the hirelings come back and sell their stuff.
All right. What happened that made this dwarven underground like the way it is underground? What's some of the history of that?
He pulls 1 back, leaving 3, and says, well, now you're talking about a time so old that most of it's rumor. He says, but really, it's not rumor so much as rich dwarven history. He goes, the rest of you races may want to call it rumor. I call it the blood of the earth. He goes, my ancestors aren't from the northern at all. He goes, they're right here. Zem and Zoriat, we were here long before the elves and the halflings and all the little folk came in, because this was our land. He goes, this is where we started. He goes, built by the giants we was. He goes, and in our time, we built entire cities here. Since then, they've been all covered.
Kind of look at the rest of my group. Can any of you think of anything else pertinent to the topic?
Does he know the exact location of where the spear's at in these underground?
I mean, that would the
spear?
exact location underground.
Of what?
The spear.
He says, you have to go in the entrance there. He goes, he pulls back 1, leaving 2. He goes, once you get in there, he goes, you're going to have to get by the door. He goes, the cover stone doesn't just let you in. He goes, the first goal is getting by the massive gates. He goes, and to get in there, he goes, that's something no one can do. He goes, the dwarves themselves sealed these places aeons ago. He goes, even uncovering one, he goes, is damn near impossible, because the halflings and everything else are jealous that we dwarves will take back our land.
So, but you don't know exactly where underground the spear is then?
He goes, well, if you get into the city, he goes, you'd need a map of the city, and even I don't have that knowledge. I've never been inside them. He goes, they're aeons old. They're ages back from when the giants still walked this place.
Okay.
All of you know that giants haven't existed, supposedly, if you believe the rumors and the history. The giants once ruled the world. They ruled Zoriat. They were the epitome of races. There's not a one of you here that's ever heard about the dwarves being in Zoriat. This is his obscure history, if you'll believe it.
Okay.
Why don't you come along with us and we can get you in there and you can take back your lands?
He looks and he says, hey, he goes, don't you see my life of splendor right here in the city? He goes, I have folks, and he pulls across one of the silver since you've asked if he would come with you, and he goes, folks come to me just to pay for my wisdom. He goes, I'm not about to go out there and risk getting stabbed up by some uppity little halfling with his little scorpion dagger and whatnot. He goes, the damn
It's
things
okay.
hurt, and you know they're poison to boot.
It's okay to be scared.
Well, potentially one
Make
day we will.
a insight roll, Benoit. He doesn't respond to you at all, and you can tell you have touched a nerve. You can see it, and there's something unsettled in his eye when you say that. But outwardly, he doesn't seem to respond at all. If you weren't watching for it when you probed, you would have missed it. But, oh, you definitely touched a nerve when you called him afraid. But he tries to brush it off like, of course, any fool would want to save his own skin.
True. One day we will likely be coming back and returning for that spear. Perhaps, maybe it's not a task we're up to today, but we can always stop by again that time and see if you want to come with us.
Well, I don't think I'm about to change my mind. He goes, what about
Never
your
know.
last two questions?
There should only be one question left.
Thank you. Take a plot point for that. What about your last question?
Any of you guys have a question?
No.
Well then.
What is it? What is it that you fear down below the ground?
A well-spent silver.
He pauses
No.
for a second, picking up the silver and looking at it as if debating if the answer to that is worth it. Finally tucking it away and saying, I agreed to a gold piece's worth of question, so I'll give you an answer. Let me make it clear this way. He goes, I already said I don't fear nothing. But wanting to keep my life is important to me. I respect my ancestors. I know the truth. And I know that any fool who goes opening up one of them places of where my ancestors live are going to bring them out. And you know what? I'm a dwarf who happens to like living and selling my knowledge. But the history of my ancestors is tied with the giants. And if you bring back the one, you're going to bring back the other. And I'm not quite sure this world could handle the giants, since the giants are the one that fought with the dragons. They followed them up when the dragons fought against the demons. And you know what? If you want to unleash one, you're going to unleash a whole lot of hell upon the world. He goes, it's not going in there that I fear. It's what comes out.
Huh. That's very good to know. Thank you for your time.
Of course. And he gets up.
I offer to shake his hand.
He reaches out warmly, shakes your hand. He's got no issue with that. Little more looks over towards the rest of you, as if weighing up any other questions.
Nope.
No?
Now, Claymore, I want you to make a perception roll for me.
All right. Perception.
Yeah, out of 10. You think you might have heard something upstairs when you were standing over near the doorway because you never actually chose to sit down.
Hmm.
And then
I mean, I assume we're probably all leaving the building now.
yeah, he seems to be coming
Yep.
over to the door to take you out.
I tried to direct my eyes towards the stairs or something, maybe even look.
Okay.
I'm not just gonna go running up there or anything like that, but I'm gonna maybe just look a little bit.
As he leads
Well-
you over here to this door that you can see. I guess I can grab the rest of you.
Sing a little merry tune. Hi ho, hi ho.
Claymore gets himself over there, and you glance up the stairs, and you can make a perception roll with advantage since you were the one that heard something. Wow, dirty 20. You catch a human who seems to have noticed you looking towards him, and he ducks back into the shadows across the railing, realizing that he's been seen. And this human has a sword at his side and appears to be wearing a cloak and high boots.
So who's your friend upstairs with the sword, who's obviously really bad at stealth?
He looks over at you and he says, well, now you want to know about my personal life. He goes, I think that might be worth 2 silver instead of 1. You're not asking
not
for
paying
knowledge, but
somebody.
about me.
I'm not paying somebody so that way I can find out whether or not he's going to kill me or not.
Well, then I would suggest that you just thank me and leave the house. And he steps out, opening up the door. He goes, then you don't have to worry about dying in here.
Ernie will be stepping out the door.
I guess,
Alexander will follow
Doesn't s-
Ionia.
yeah, Claymore doesn't see, I guess, the point in continuing this argument, as it is suspicious, but everyone else is leaving, and so he drops it there for now, keeping that in mind, that there's obviously something fishy going on with this dwarf, that, one, Claymore already doesn't like him, and 2, this already confirms that there's something going on here. So he's going to keep it in mind and save it in the pocket. And I guess walk out of the building with a very judgmental look on his face towards this dwarf.
You look out,
Did
looking down at the
Benoit-
doors. It's kind of tough to have a
Benoit steps-
judgmental look on a face that's made of metal and can't change. So you just stare at him with
Yeah,
your
I
eyes
guess that's
glowing.
Well, I guess my face just naturally looks judgmental since it's just like in one spot and just is meant to look intimidating, I suppose.
Our artists better keep that in mind. How to draw a judgmental face
Judgmental
permanently.
warlock or warforged
Warforged.
or something.
Benoit steps over to the door and pauses for a moment, looks the dwarf in the eyes, and says, I never was worried. And then ducks his head as he steps out the door.
As you do, the dwarf reaches out to grab your arm. Do you dodge him?
Oh, I let him grab hold of that arm.
You're just dodging out. He grabs hold of your arm and shakes your hand. Then you go out the door.
I shake it back as I walk out.
You walk out. He closes the door behind you, and you hear a series of bolts and latches go into place.
From this town really likes to lock themselves in.
You tell me
And then-
something about this place. This is not a necessarily.
People like to
fun-
bathe in maple syrup here.
Apparently.
Apparently.
And as Benoit, there is something in your hand. Do you want to open it here in front of everybody else, or what?
Now I carry it with me as we head back.
Okay. You guys are heading back to where? The One-Eyed Dragon?
I mean, do we want to look at getting tickets to head back to the mainland? I don't think. I think there's more pulls with the maps and stuff that are going back to the mainland than just my one pull towards ancient history that may be above our heads right now. But this is always something we could come back to.
Is that what you all want? I mean, she's
I'm
asking
up
you.
for whatever.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Heading down towards the dock area, you go over towards the docks, seeking a way back to the mainlands, seemingly giving up on your idea of searching here. And while you're talking to individuals, you have a like a dog-headed monster trying to attack your head everywhere you go. Sorry, I see the dog across the street. They're all like, what's he talking about? I'm like, there's a dog coming in. It's awesome. As you go back there, you start talking. Benoit, you have time to open this up. And you said you do speak Dwarvish?
Yeah, was that one of them that was on there?
I don't remember.
I
didn't
believe
write them
so.
all
Let
down.
me double check.
I know you speak Giant, and I just wanted to double check.
Not Dwarvish. Common, Elvish, Giant, and
All
Halfling.
right. So you do speak the Giant, though. So what you get in Giant, as you read this, is a description. And it's 4 simple words. And it says, life from the stone. And there's a number next to it, and it says 010 212 souls. And it's written in Giant.
Do I have any idea what this is?
Considering you just looked at all the other maps that had almost the exact same information on it, which was a 3-digit code number, a name of what was there, and a number of souls inside, it's easy for Benoit to say, we were just asking about an underground layer, and everything that you read on the earlier magical maps were locations underground, it seemed, in Dwarvish Giantish, and this is written in that similar Giantish script. And it may be that this dwarf, it would be easy for Benoit to put together, because your intelligence is above average anyway. Benoit to just put together, look, I've just seen this on a magical map. We just asked about a hidden underground layer, and it seems like he's giving you a detail that he did not put on the common map. And that's where we'll wrap it up for tonight. We're at the 11 o'clock mark, a few minutes after. I want to thank all our viewers for being with us tonight. This was a real blast. I know that we're in a time of social distancing, which means that we cannot get together in person. However, there are ways to always get together online, so I want to encourage our viewers as well as you, use that. Seize the time. There are ways to get together to play with friends and whatnot and do all sorts of fun things. Like my own regular group, we get together on Friday nights, and for me, we might be doing something socially via this same medium. And we might be trying that out. I don't know. We'll have to talk to some others. Now, how about each of you do your check-in? Tell us anything that's going on in your lives, and we'll say goodbye after that to everybody. We'll start off with Kitty Doe, and then you pick the next victim to talk about what's going on in your life and anything that we should look forward to.
Everything that I said at the beginning is what's going on in my life still. So I don't have anything more to add to that.
Any place they should follow you other than on Twitter?
Like I said, my YouTube channel's up and running under the same name.
Now, did you finish that 7-day challenge?
The 7-day challenge, we're going to call it a week challenge and say that I completed a week challenge because it was 5 days, which is a week.
5
and we'll
business
call
days.
that finished.
I like business week.
Business week was finished. And I'm working, like I said, on my next big project. So that'll be another longer video than the really short snippet 7-day challenge that I was working on.
Wonderful.
Much excitement there.
Wonderful. Who's next? Oh, go ahead, Kitty. I thought you were
saying...
No.
No. I was just trying to think of names off the top of my head, and for whatever reason, I'm blanking on everybody's names.
Aria,
Shirley.
Eric, or Brock?
Brock, you can take it away.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to be doing this week is trying to figure out how this school thing is going to work, since they're saying we're going to go to all online courses starting this week.
Yep.
Except I'm in weld school, so I don't know how we're going to weld online. So
I
it's
know
going to be
a
interesting.
lot of schools that I was hearing about were going to all online, with the exceptions of certain hands-on classes. Like there were schools that were doing online, but the ceramics classes were still meeting because they were below certain numbers. Maybe you'll still be meeting in person.
No, as of right now, we're all online. I just don't know how it's going to work. So we're going to try to figure that out. I got another meeting in the morning at 8 o'clock, and we'll go from there. That work and getting ready to go let the dogs out, because obviously she's ready to go.
Well, I want to thank you. Obviously, appreciate it. Pick somebody else to go after you, Brock, and we'll wrap this up.
Eric.
Yeah, pretty much, everything I said in the beginning, just working and stuff. But for everybody else right now that's obviously experiencing all of this kinds of stuff where we're social distancing and staying inside, and some of us are alone, all I can say is, if you're feeling some sort of way, feeling a little bit down because of all the isolation, it's okay to, I guess, contact people, let people know, talk to people, and just get your mind off of the negativity that's going around and such. So just keep trucking on, and eventually this will pass by, and we'll all be back to normal life like usual. So, but yeah, Arya, take it away.
All right. My week should be pretty busy. I've got more job applications to handle and stuff for the upcoming year. But in terms of personal stuff that I'm up to, I'm going to be getting more stuff up on my Etsy. You can check out my Etsy or follow me on Twitter, Snapchat, or Instagram, or Facebook. They've all got the same handle, at the Chic Geek 314. Kind of made it nice and flat, so that way wherever it is you're looking for me, you can find me. And yeah, I've just got to mirror what everybody else is saying, which is take care of yourself, make smart decisions and stuff while this virus is going around. Wash your hands, take appropriate measures wherever it's possible. And if you're feeling lonely or something, reach out to somebody, talk to somebody, take that 2-hour-long phone call. It's really, you got the time for it in your day at this point, honestly. Make sure you reach out if you need it.
Wonderful. On my end, we have a whole lot going on. We also are applying for new positions, new jobs, which might be anywhere in the USA. So who knows? We might be showing up in one of our viewers' neighborhoods. I love and want to echo what Eric said, which is reach out to people, stay connected. It's really important. Introverts, reach out to your extrovert friends, because while introverts, you're really good at being on your own, extroverts aren't. They're the ones curling up in a little ball or going fetal right now and debating whether or not they should just break out and do crazy things. So reach out to them, talk to them, because they can't just hunker down with a book the way an introvert is. This is kind of like introvert heaven. You say social distancing, you say, like where I live right now, we are under, they don't call it house arrest, they call it
It's
self-quarantine.
No, it's not self-quarantine. That's when you're sick. Shelter in place, that's it.
Shelter.
Yeah, we're under shelter in place, which means you can't go anywhere. You can't get together for smaller groups. So you can't even get together for a game under 10 people. So again, reach out to people, talk and whatnot. Keep me in thoughts that we'll find that new job soon. I would love to advertise and say, hey, look, we're going to be going there soon. I want to encourage each of our viewers to please jot down. I'm about to put up on the screen right after we all wave goodbye the Discord channel. We are on Discord, so come join the conversation. We would love to have you. I also want to pump Dark Galaxies Gaming. We're on their stream right now. They have some of the most fantastic DMs out there. They do pay games, but what that guarantees you is it guarantees you a seat at a regular table that's going to happen all the time, that doesn't get called off, and you may meet some of the best players you'll ever play with. Truly, it's a good time and a great place to meet new people. That's Dark Galaxies Gaming. And Triplicate Entertainment, you'll see them advertised at the end of this. If you like these cog overlays that I have here, they're made by Triplicate Entertainment, a fantastic individual. So I throw their advertisements up at the end. I want to thank you all, and we'll see you next week, Monday night, 9 o'clock sharp EST. God bless. We'll see y'all later. Bye. Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
And we'll transition that over